Hey you, yes you. You didn't land here by accident. There's something different about you, something rare. You've got that spark, that quiet fire in your chest that whispers, I'm made for more. And let me tell you something, you're absolutely right. The world doesn't hand out greatness to just anyone. It chooses the ones who are bold enough to chase it, hungry enough to prepare for it, and strong enough to carry it. This moment right here, it's not just another motivational rant. This is your wake-up call. Your reminder that the storm you're in, the grind you're pushing through, the late nights, the doubts, the sacrifices, they're not in vain. They're proof that you're being shaped for something bigger. So buckle up, because what's coming isn't small, it's not comfortable, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Wealth, success, impact, it's all pulling up like a rocket with your name on it. And it's not going to knock politely. It's going to explode into your life and ask you one simple question. Were you ready for this? And I believe you are. Because the chosen ones, they don't wait for permission. They become the storm. Let's go. Your journey starts here. Hit subscribe now and step into your purpose. Don't miss what's coming. The arrival of wealth is not usually accompanied by a red carpet. In many cases, it appears in the form of pandemonium. It's possible that the time leading up to your breakthrough will feel chaotic, stressful, or even painful. This is not a lucky occurrence. Rather, it is a test. Regardless of how much you yearn for it, sudden money compels you to make adjustments in your life. To tell you the truth, change is not always something that is comfortable. Give some thought to the routines, people, and behaviors that are currently present in your life. There are some of them who are unable to accompany you to the following level. It is not a coincidence that you are experiencing discomfort. Rather, it is the result of life changing you into someone who is capable of dealing with the magnitude of what is to come. In the present moment, growth is rarely a pleasant experience, but it is always essential. When money suddenly appears in your life, it does not merely amplify the positive aspects, rather, it throws a bright light on the aspects that you have been avoiding. Surprising money will reveal your lack of discipline if you do not have it now. Your stakes will increase if you are involved in relationships that are unhealthy. The stress of having to make judgments quickly could render you unable to act if you are indecisive. You are not being punished by the chaos that comes before prosperity. Rather, it is there to prepare you for it. During this phase, people frequently abandon up because they believe that the fight indicates that they are incapable of succeeding. That is not the case. There is only a short distance left before everything turns around. However, here's the tricky part. You can't skip over this section. Wealth that arrived without any prior preparation would not be able to remain. It is not enough to simply attract abundance. The turmoil is also building your capacity to maintain abundance. So, when it seems as though your life is coming apart, try not to freak out. Possibly, everything is starting to fall into place. Continue on, continue to develop, and have faith that the discomfort you are experiencing is not the end of your narrative. We are witnessing the birth of something truly outstanding. When unexpected riches comes into your life, it not only influences your current financial situation, but it also alters the way that other people perceive you. At this point, things begin to become more complicated. Some individuals will look up to you and perhaps become obsessed with your achievements. In the same way, other people could feel resentment toward you. The reality is that you will begin to attract individuals who you are not emotionally or mentally prepared to deal with unless you do so. Some people may arrive with genuine enthusiasm for your development, but there will also be people who are looking to take advantage of the situation. Certain individuals will attempt to conceal their goals by using flattery, while others will attempt to convince you that you are indebted to them in some way. It may not always be easy to recognize the difference, particularly while you are adjusting to the new world that you have encountered. More than that, folks who knew you before you became wealthy might not react in the way that you anticipate they will. It's possible that friends who were there for you when you were low on resources will suddenly feel intimidated by your success. There is a possibility that they will wonder if you have changed, or even worse, if you will abandon them. There is a possibility that the connections you believe to be unbreakable could become tight, not as a result of what you have done, but rather as a result of the fact that your success reveals their worries. It is true that this is something that people do not warn you about, but it is true. You will come to know that not everyone was pulling for you, and that this is not necessarily nasty. The more you rise, the more you will realize this. Sometimes it's nothing more than envy or anxiety. They have no idea how to handle the situation. Learning to use discretion is essential. Having sudden fortune compels you to guard your energies with the same ferocity that you guard your money. There are some people who do not deserve access to you, regardless of how close they were in the past. You will need to rethink your boundaries and come to terms with the fact that letting go of certain ties is a necessary step in order to achieve something more significant. This is not a simple task, but it is essential. Opportunities aren't the only thing that come with wealth. It also delivers lessons. Now, the first thing to keep in mind is that not every business is a good business. The accumulation of wealth does more than alter your surroundings. It also strengthens your identity and the beliefs that you hold. Guess what happens if you have ever persuaded yourself that money isn't the most important thing in the world, or that people are greedy? These ideals do not vanish into thin air when you suddenly find yourself in a position of financial success. Instead, they become more audible and begin to exert an influence over your every action. To tell you the truth, the cornerstone for how you handle money is the mindset that you have about it first. If you have a secret feeling of guilt about having more than other people, you will find ways to give it away or sabotage yourself until you are back where you started. It is possible that you will hoard it out of fear that it will disappear at any moment if you believe that you do not deserve it, and if you have always held the belief that riches is the source of all evil. You will find that you are torn between two opposing viewpoints, as if being wealthy makes you a bad person. This is not merely a harmless notion. Rather, it is a screenplay that your subconscious is using to direct your life. Furthermore, sudden affluence exposes them in a manner that cannot be ignored. You might think of money as a mirror that reflects your anxieties, insecurities, and scars that have not yet healed. Because of this, a great number of people end up losing their fortunes just as rapidly as they earn them. It is not because they are careless or irresponsible. Rather, it is because they were not prepared to tackle the challenges that riches brings to the surface. Nevertheless, here is some good news. Once you become conscious of these ideas, you have the ability to alter them. It is possible to restructure your mentality such that you view money as a tool rather than a burden. You have the ability to train yourself to accept affluence without feeling guilty and to come to terms with the concept that riches does not corrupt. Rather, it empowers. The true challenge is not to acquire the money. Rather, it is to become proficient in your relationship with it. For the simple reason that if you don't, wealth won't cure your issues. Rather, it will make them worse. Having wealth can change everything about your life, but the most significant change it can bring about is in your identity. Instantaneously, you are no longer simply the person that people know. You are the one who possesses financial riches. As a result of this new name, there are expectations, assumptions, and judgments that are to be expected. It may be difficult for others who have known you in the past to reconcile the person you were with the person you are progressing into. People will wonder if you have changed as a result of your success. And let's be honest, it surely has. When the circumstances of your life have changed, you are unable to continue operating at the same level. Maintaining your authenticity while also adjusting to this new version of yourself is the difficulty that lies ahead. You will also have to deal with the reality of envy. The insecurities that people have about themselves will be projected onto your accomplishment. It is possible that they will say something like, "It must be nice," or they may discreetly hint that you do not beg for it. It is not only your imagination that causes you to hear whispers behind your back or to suddenly separate yourself from specific people. This is the price that you pay for growing. Then there is the uncertainty. People are going to wonder how you managed to get here. They will either believe that it was a stroke of luck or that you do not possess the necessary skills to maintain it. It is possible that even members of your family who were formerly your biggest supporters would have difficulty adjusting to your new reality. Their impression of you is based on who you were in the past, not on who you are developing into at this moment. Making a decision about how much of the old you to keep and how much to let go of is the true struggle that you will face. It is acceptable for you to alter. You are required to do so. On the other hand, this evolution does not come with a manual, and it is simple to feel disoriented while going through the procedure. Because of this, it is more necessary than ever before to have a solid understanding of who you are at your core, including your values, your purpose, and your boundaries. A change in your identity will occur as a result of wealth, but the manner in which that shift manifests itself is entirely up to you. There is a surge of energy and excitement that comes along with sudden wealth. Yet it is during that rush that the majority of people make their first and most significant mistakes. It is common for people to immediately respond by spending money, celebrating, or making the news public to the entire world. An impetuous response, on the other hand, might rapidly transform a blessing into a hardship. The power of a smart pause comes into play at this point in the process. If you are fortunate enough to receive a windfall of money, the most prudent thing you can do is to do nothing, at least for a short period of time. Before you make any decisions, you should take a moment to calm yourself and accept the truth of the situation you are now in. This is not simply about avoiding impulsive purchases or investments. Rather, it is about making room in your life for clear thinking and deliberate planning. Taking a break gives you the opportunity to review your objectives, consider your choices, and devise a plan for the future that not only appears to be favorable in the present moment, but also remains viable over the course of the long term. Particularly impressive is the force that silence possesses. When you make public your money too soon, you open yourself up to criticism, pressure, and even covert motivations from the people around you. Everyone will have a plan for what you ought to do, and many people will suddenly see you as an opportunity for them to fulfill their own personal goals. Maintaining silence shields you from noise that is not necessary and provides you with the opportunity to formulate a strategy without interruptions. Surround yourself with professionals who are able to advise you during this period of pause. These professionals include financial advisors, attorneys, and mentors who are aware of the obligations that come with money. Learn as much as you can about taxes, investing, and potential dangers. The goal is not simply to maintain your wealth, but rather to build it in a prudent manner. It is in the pause that clarity can be found. You should not deprive yourself of the pleasure that comes with your achievements. Rather, you should make sure that every action you take is in line with the broader picture. Making a reaction is simple, but reflecting requires self-control. Nevertheless, the difference between a transitory riches and a legacy that will endure a lifetime is in that discipline. Wealth is not simply the possession of money. Rather, it is the ability to make effective use of that money. Unexpected money brings to light a painful reality. It is possible that you do not yet possess the skills necessary to safeguard and cultivate it. In the absence of adequate information, even a wealth might vanish as quickly as it was brought into existence. Dealing with riches is not the same as dealing with a paycheck. Taxes, investments, and legal protections are all completely uncharted regions, and making the incorrect decision might have significant financial repercussions. Is it possible for you to differentiate between a legitimate investment opportunity and a fraudulent one? Assuring that your best interests are preserved through negotiation with financial advisors or attorneys is something you are able to do. These are not abilities that can be learned overnight, but they are absolutely necessary in order to successfully navigate your new reality. On top of that, there is the emotional aspect. Individuals are drawn to wealth, some of whom have good intentions, while others are looking to take advantage of it. For you to be able to sort through connections, offers, and guidance, you will need to have the ability to exercise discernment. Because of this, the ability to say no is just as vital as the ability to know when to say yes. Also, let's talk about the tax system. Many people who find themselves suddenly wealthy are taken aback by the amount of cash that can be lost owing to a lack of proper planning. If you lack the knowledge and skills necessary to properly organize your finances, you can find yourself paying away more money to the government than you could have ever anticipated. It is not about being an expert in everything overnight. Rather, it is about acknowledging that the information you currently possess is insufficient and making a commitment to improving your knowledge in the areas that are required. Attend classes, study books, seek out professionals you can trust, and keep asking questions until you have a complete understanding. Those who are chosen are not only those who are blessed with money, they are also those who are able to rise to the occasion and meet the challenges that come along with it. Whether you are willing to gain the talents that correspond to your new world will determine how successful you are. Doors can be opened with money, but only knowledge can guarantee that they will remain open. Your journey starts here. Hit subscribe now and step into your purpose. Don't miss what's coming. Success is like a spotlight. While it can shine a light on your accomplishments, it also has the potential to cast a shade on the insecurities suffered by others. Not because of what you've done, but because of how it makes them feel about their own life. Sudden money has a way of making people uncomfortable. This is not because of what their actions have been. It's possible that some people will cheer for you with all their heart, while others may have difficulty processing their feelings, which can lead to outcomes that are unexpected and even harmful. In the way that people interact with you, you might observe minor shifts. Someone who used to be supportive of you may become emotionally distant from you or begin making passive-aggressive comments about the way you live your life. It's possible that other people will publicly criticize your decisions, presenting their judgment as concern. These responses are not about you. Rather, they are about the mirror that your success holds up to their unfulfilled hopes or frozen objectives. Don't forget where you came from, or must be nice to have it so easy. These responses are not about you. What is the most challenging aspect? There is a possibility that these responses will come from individuals whom you least anticipate, such as friends, family members, or co-workers that you believed would always have your back. Internalizing their hostility and wondering if you've done something wrong is a simple process that can be easily done. But here's the truth. It is not your responsibility to alleviate their discomfort. It is not that you stole their opportunities or changed for the worst. Rather, you just continued to develop. You won't be successful if you try to make everyone happy or minimize your achievements. Indeed, you are doing yourself a harm by doing so. A glow-up is something that you have earned, whether it was via hard effort, taking risks, or divine timing, and you have every right to enjoy it whenever you choose. It is acceptable for some people to be unable to bear the sight of another person's success. They should be allowed to cope with their feelings while you concentrate on establishing the life you've worked so hard to achieve. When you celebrate, the proper people will be there to join you, and the rest of the folks will either adjust or disappear. There is no reason to minimize your achievements in order to make other people feel more at ease. The amount of money in your bank account is not the best indicator of true wealth. Rather, the energy that money represents is where true wealth can be found. The capacity to put your time, your skills, and your resources to work for you is the key to reaching your financial goals and being wealthy. It's about having the flexibility to live your life on your own terms, without the restraints of having to worry about where you're going financially. You will be missing out on the deeper power that comes along with the money if you are only interested in pursuing it. Wealth is merely a tool. It is not the end aim. What it enables is where the true value of the situation rests. When you have a lot of money, you can buy back your time. You can minimize the amount of work you put in by delegating tasks, investing in opportunities, and moving in ways that provide a greater impact. More significantly, you will be able to live your life according to your own principles, rather than being forced to do so in order to survive or fulfill your obligations. You have the ability to create a life in which your efforts are directed toward things that are actually significant, rather than simply in order to keep the wheels moving. If your primary objective is to amass wealth, you will almost certainly find yourself caught in a never-ending loop of financial accumulation. You will be always striving for greater numbers, larger assets, and more belongings, but you will never feel satisfied with your life. You will be like a hamster on a wheel, chasing an illusion of achievement that does not actually bring you the freedom or satisfaction that you imagined it would. When taken at its most fundamental level, wealth refers to the capacity to employ financial resources as a means of generating possibilities, molding one's own fate, and making decisions from a position of authority. By shifting your attention away from the dollar sign and toward what it can accomplish for you, you are able to access a completely different type of freedom. An energy that transcends numerical values and enters the realm of possibilities is what we mean when we talk about true wealth. When you find yourself suddenly in possession of wealth, it is not merely a gift, rather, it is a challenge. The universe is not simply giving you money. Rather, it is asking you, what will you do with it? The fact that you do not define your purpose is the most risky thing you can do when you suddenly find yourself in a position of financial success. If you do not have a crystal clear understanding of the reasons behind your desire for wealth in the first place, the money may go through your fingers, just as quickly as it arrived. It is true that riches, particularly sudden wealth, has the ability to accentuate everything, both positive and negative. You will find yourself lost in the cacophony and distracted by the bright things that money can buy if you do not have a strong sense of your goal or purpose from the beginning. In spite of the fact that you will never feel genuinely pleased, you will find yourself caught up in a cycle of spending, pleasing other people, and filling the gap. In a short amount of time, what begins as enthusiasm transforms into nothingness. It is common for those who lack a purpose to become disoriented along the route, due to the fact that they have never taken the time to connect with a more profound vision. They are constantly pursuing transitory pleasures, making decisions on the spur of the moment, and spending impulsively. If you are unable to determine the reason behind your money, you will be unable to effectively utilize it for long-term enjoyment or impact. Wealth turns into a burden rather than a gift when it is not accompanied with a purpose. These individuals, on the other hand, who approach riches with a distinct sense of purpose, are capable of accomplishing remarkable things. When money is used as a tool, it becomes a method to bring about significant change, to invest in what is important, and to construct something that will last. It is not enough to simply amass wealth for the purpose of amassing wealth. Rather, it is about channeling your resources in such a way that you may live the life you have always desired and leave behind a legacy that reflects your genuine principles. If you find yourself in a position of financial success, the question that should be asked is not, "What will I do with all this money?" but rather, "What will I do with the power that it gives me to shape the world around me?" Freedom is a promise that comes with wealth, but many people fail to realize that it comes with an emotional cost. If you want to be able to live your life according to your own terms and make decisions without being constrained by financial constraints, even though it may seem ideal, you will need to let go of a lot more than you might anticipate. To begin, freedom presents difficulties for your relationships. Old relationships that are no longer in line with who you have become will become obsolete as you progress in your career. There are some individuals who will not comprehend or value the change, while others may experience feelings of intimidation or envy for your new existence. It is possible for relationships that were formerly considered to be strong to fall apart as a result of your success, and dealing with this situation can be difficult emotionally. Those members of your family and friends who are still residing in the world that you have left behind may find themselves more apart from you. If your experiences are so significantly different from one another, it can be difficult to establish a close relationship with them because they might not be able to relate to your path. In addition to that, there is the problem of your routines. We need to get rid of the old patterns of thinking and the routines that were comfortable but did not produce the desired results. Freedom not only grants you the ability to make choices, but it also compels you to develop new routines, approach the management of your time in a different manner, and be significantly more disciplined than you were in the past. The routines that brought you to this point in time will prevent you from reaching the destination that you have set for yourself in the future.